Hello, this is Ty Newell and COVID status report number 24 called Push Pull, posted as of September 1st, 2020. It's been a month since I visited you, and as we talked about, maybe not so many people watch this, but what I do hope is that this has been a real a live time dialogue concerning COVID infections and its spread throughout the United States, and a discussion of what's really happened as it's happening. This slide, which I first showed on May 4th, back when we were only at a little over 1 million infections, is to remind us that looking at what could have been if we had socially distanced early in March, we could have snuffed this thing out. We could have stopped infections at 200,000, as shown by the gray line down at the bottom. But instead, we didn't. Instead, we allowed over 1 million infections to have occurred while other countries had turned the corner, stopped the growth of the infections, got things in control. We spent $3 trillion, about $10,000 debt per US citizen. Here's what should be. The University of Illinois, which I'm very proud to be associated with and very glad to see what true leadership can do, they took the bull by the horns and established, as soon as they found out from some of our faculty that an efficient testing procedure could be put in place within a matter of months, they did that. The University of Illinois is now conducting 20,000 tests per day. 2% of all US tests are happening right here with less than 0.015% of the US population. Why isn't this happening throughout the country at a small fraction of the cost of $2 to $3 trillion of economic destruction? You can see that it's a simple test. You're either given access or denied access to buildings. Here I'm showing going into a testing station. We test twice a week, about once every 4 days, the right amount to break the infection cycle and to know what's going on. I entered, I exited, tests, which I've undergone about 5 now, 3 to 5 minutes. Easy, simple, painless, effective. But it takes leadership to do that. An N95 mask. This 10-year-old mask that I use for woodworking used to be available in every box store. It's been 6 months. Why aren't these available now, protecting us in both directions, from spewing contagions out to protecting me from contagions in the air? Why don't we have this if we can't manage getting masks manufactured in mass? How are we going to vaccinate everyone? Sweden's no longer stupid. So why is the US considering the Swedish method? When Sweden thought this was the right way to go, they had 5,800 deaths. Norway, their neighbor, which was paralleling them in early stages, said, that's stupid, get this in control, like the Czech Republic, like Germany, like South Korea, like so many other responsible countries with responsible leadership. Instead, Sweden went up here, then said, this is really stupid, we're killing ourselves, let's drop down. The end result, Sweden 5,800 deaths, Norway 260. Are we stupid or what? It doesn't work. FLOTUS, biggest liar of the US. Don't listen to the fiction. Don't listen to the irresponsibility, the incoherence. As said by many, many people over millennia, false words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. Socrates. To pretend to know when you do not know is a disease, Lao Tzu. There are people who exaggerate so much that they can't tell the truth without lying. Mark Twain. So true in each of these cases. This linear growth that's occurred is it demonstrates a lack of coherent leadership, a lack of a consistent message, and uncontrolled growth of the infection. Just look at how we've left everyone behind. And we surged as we somewhat get into control, but we're still growing at an unacceptable rate, a rate that's a characteristic of a bullyocracy. The infection parameter, we bounce along this line, except for the summer surge, which was a combination of a temperature driving us indoors as the summer got warm in June, into insufficiently ventilated buildings, coupled with irresponsible leadership in southern states such as Georgia, Florida, Arizona, Texas, and elsewhere that irresponsibly reopened without a real plan. That's the push to reopen irresponsibly. The pull are people saying, hey, this is bad. People I know are dying, they're getting sick. I don't want to be sick. Let's do something about it. People distance, got the infection parameter down below 2.7, the boundary line between accelerating infection growth and decaying infection growth. And through most of August, we've been here, but as of the end of August, we're about ready to go back up. Is there going to be a September surprise due to irresponsible school openings? We'll find out next month. U.S. infection parameter trends. Infection parameter is dependent on human behavior. And as we talked about, even though 95% of us are doing the right thing, it only takes 5% to infect a lot of people. It only takes a little bit of irresponsibility. It only takes a poor leader who shirks responsibility, sows dissension, and causes confusion that's keeping us from moving down into this region of infection decay. We need to have other choices for our leadership. Disease prediction is very easy. If we know the infection parameter, that is, if we can predict human behavior, which is tough, but I haven't touched this plot since I started it back in June. I've just been adding data points, and this is a pretty complex path to follow, but I'm getting pretty good at understanding what human behavior is doing and why we're moving in such a disastrous direction. And I expect that to continue through December. My hope is that there will be a real change to responsible leadership that will clarify, provide a coherent message, and get the things that we need to protect ourselves and our loved ones. But here's the questions that one needs to ask himself over the next couple of months as you hear the debates and the dialogue. Will truth conquer deceit? Will knowledge conquer fear? Will love conquer hate? I believe that truth, knowledge, and love are more powerful than deceit, fear, and hate. Stop the lying, solve the problem. Quit bullying our teachers. Teachers preserve our past and they protect our future. They're our most valuable resource. And irresponsibly pushing them into unsafe situations, you know, it just, I can't understand it. It's just the worst behavior possible. Nathan Hale, teacher, patriot. This is what our true heroes are like. Will you enter a building without knowing the CO2 concentration? You want to play Russian roulette? Follow our guidelines. They have not changed since March when I began these. Everyone else has moved to this. You're now hearing it's airborne, you need better ventilation, you need filtration, maybe add ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. We've been telling you what should have been told to you months ago, and you're only hearing it now. 200,000 deaths, is that enough? Unfortunately, it's going to go much, much beyond that with the current lack of leadership and confusion. As you listen to the dialogue, don't let history be rewritten. This is happening, and it's happening because of human behavior. Continue to use the mask, stay distance. Thank you, essential workers. Thank you, medical staff.